This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Benjamin Betts. It's all about the Benjamin Betts, baby. You know what's up? Yes, Benjamin Betts, baby.
All right, welcome to this week's episode of the Benjamin Betts podcast. I am your co-host, Corey. Missing today is the other half of the duo. Jared, a little under the weather, so he will not be joining us on the pod. So we're going to keep this short and sweet. We're diving in to the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. We got 4 games coming up. As you always know, we put $100 down every single week. Winnings go to charity. Losing goes to FanDuel Sportsbook, because that does not go to charity. And we see how we do. And so we're going to read these off pretty quick here. This is a short episode, but we've put some time into this. We feel pretty good about these 4 picks. We'll bet these individually, but then also we always do our 6-game parlay. So we're going to make this a 6-leg parlay. I know there's only 4 games here, but we're going to pick some over-unders and the spreads to get you to 6 solid bets for our parlay. So coming out the gate here, we got Houston Texans with the big upset last week against the Cleveland Browns at home, which was great for the Houston crowd. They're traveling to Baltimore, though, and Baltimore is a whole different beast. Lamar Jackson's playing extremely well. He's going to win the MVP this year. The Ravens, clearly number 1 seed, had the bye, had a little bit of rest. They are 9.5-point favorites at home against the Texans, and we're taking the points. Give me Baltimore minus 9.5. I know Cleveland played well, and C.J. Stroud, they're playing with house money, and that is always dangerous. And there could be a backdoor cover here, which is a little scary. But I believe in Baltimore, and I think they get it done. Lamar Jackson has had a sketchy playoff history, to say the least. But I do think that it's a different team this year, and it's a different mentality. And at least in this game, Baltimore gets this done. Minus 9.5. And we're actually taking the over here as well. So 43.5 is the over for this game. I think there's going to be some points scored, but I do see Baltimore running away with this, adding some points to it. So give us the over at 43.5. Now that moves us into the other 1 seed. The other team that has just been blowing people away, the 49ers. They're at home against the Green Bay Packers, who, similar story to the Texans, had a big upset last week against the Cowboys team that was favored by 7.5. This week, the Packers, they are underdogs by 9.5 points. So the Niners are favored by 9.5 to beat the Packers. And I'm convinced Niners roll here. Similar story to the Ravens game. This Niners team has had a week off to rest. All their offensive weapons are healthy. The Packers, again, playing with house money. Love in his first season starting. I know he's not a rookie, but this is his first full year. They're probably thrilled about the Cowboy win, and they'd be happy no matter how this game goes. And I think this is still a blowout. Niners minus 9.5. We're going to take that as our 3rd pick here. Now moving into, I think will be a fun game here. The Bucs versus the Lions. If you were to tell me this was going to be a divisional playoff matchup at the beginning of the season, I would have laughed at you. You would have said, yeah, Tampa Bay is going to be at Detroit in the divisional round. Heck no. But it is. Here we go. Baker Mayfield versus Jared Goff. The Lions are minus 6.5 here in this game. I like the Bucs. I think Baker Mayfield, their offense is potent. The defense is scrappy. The Lions are going to play close games. I don't think the Lions are blowing anybody out here. They played the most exciting game last week against the Rams. The Lions, I am tempted. I still think they probably have the W here, but I think it's a close game. So give me the Bucs plus 6.5. And of course, we're going to take the over here as well. I think the defenses here are not juggernauts by any means on either team. And so give us over 48.5, but Bucs plus 6.5. So those are our 5 legs so far. The final one is going to be the game of the weekend. 2 teams that have played multiple times have had thrillers in the playoffs. Chiefs at Bills. But that is the difference. Chiefs at Bills, okay? Every time this matchup has been played, it's been in Kansas City, except for the 1 year that it was played in Buffalo was COVID. So it's just like that wasn't the same. That wasn't the same home field advantage. So KC goes to Buffalo. The Bills are minus 2.5. They're favored here. I'm going to take the bait. and I know probably should fall with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, but I think the Bills finally get this done. I know this is where all the smart money's going. Everyone is riding the Bills here at -2.5. Feels like a trap, and maybe it is, but I will eat the cheese. I am going to follow and eat the cheese and go with the Bills. -2.5. This maybe is their season. And I know at one point it looked like they weren't even going to make the playoffs, but I think now the road has been laid out. I'd be curious what if the matchup Ravens-Bills happens for next week for the championship, AFC Championship. I'd be curious what the spread's going to be. But give me the Bills -2.5 here to cover against the Chiefs. So those are our six legs. We have Houston Texans at Baltimore. We have Baltimore -9.5, and we're taking the over at 43.5. Then we have the Niners -9.5 against the Packers. We have the Bucks +6.5 and taking the over at 48.5. And then we have the Bills -2.5. And that wraps up our 6-leg parlay. $10 wins you, let me put it in here real quick. $10 wins you $360. $100 wins you $3,000, $3,600. And if you're big rolling, $1,000 wins you $36,000. I mean, that should be paying all your mortgages and all the things, unless you got a very expensive lifestyle. So, good luck to y'all this weekend. Enjoy the games. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Benjamin Betts Podcast.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.